Okay, I'm recording this for the second time because Screencast likes to delete my files. Anyways, so this is the second observation week I had at the Huggins Center. Here's some pictures. Um, I'll mention why I like this week later, but the classroom showed a lot of multicultural and diverse perspective. That's a question that I chose. It was after Dia de los Muertos, so they had calaveras masks up, flower baskets. They were all made by students, so you got to see that stuff around the classroom. I'm sure they were happy and they felt ownership over the classroom because it was displayed. Um, and everybody in that class spoke Spanish, by the way, so it was very um, like Hispanic centered. Um, so the students were really integrated in the class. They all sat with each other, but they were allowed to go off on their own if they wanted to. Um, the students were super engaged with everything. They paid a lot of attention to the teachers, but it's because the teachers were doing fun stuff, obviously. But the teachers really catered to the students, and I think the students enjoyed that, but it was still kept educational. But the teachers also did methods to get their attention back, like where are your listening ears and stuff like that when they needed to, but it was mostly student centered, so they only ever did that when they had something important to say. Um, okay, the teachers were really casual in this class, and the teachers, there weren't really too many teacher centered moments. They read stories, but it was mostly student centered. This is the cool bit. So it was like scientific method day there. So the students were spraying rocks with water, they were working on Lego buildings together, and they were looking at bugs in a sand pit. And it was just really cool to watch all the students figuring out like how to navigate these things and watching like the zone of proximal development in action, what the teachers were willing to like. The teachers barely had to do anything to get the students to learn. They just kind of sat back and let the students do what they needed to do. But if the students got distracted by something else or spent a little too much time with like a certain thing, like with the water bottle fiddling with it, they'd point them back in the right direction, which was kind of cool. So yeah, that was basically that. And then there's my reaction. So the fifth observation thingy, I was at Bullard. And what really got me about this, so some background, this is a special education class. It's a math class. All the students there are, they're in a group of desks in the center of the room. So there's like 4 groups of desks with 5 desks in each. And so there's that. It looks like your average classroom, which I think is a bit of a problem. I think that the teachers, well, I'll go over here. So there was nothing to represent their identities. It was a very clinical classroom, and that kind of stuff. They weren't really allowed to talk too much, and they were just on laptops the whole time. And the students spent most of their time on their phone, and the teachers didn't even notice or care. But anyways, so I interviewed the male teacher, and he seemed burnt out. So some background, no offense to him, obviously, because he didn't want to be a special education teacher, he just got thrown into it. And the big thing for me that this expressed to me is the real need for special education teachers in FUSD. He seemed to treat his class like a remedial class instead of a special education class. He said they all have discipline problems, and there were a lot of times where I saw students just kind of shouting and doing stuff that my students at my tutoring job do. And I'm thinking to myself, they can't really control that. It's the environment that they're in, not really a disciplinary problem. So yeah, I found that really interesting. So yeah.